What if I told you that one of the biggest myths about women over 50 is quietly stealing your confidence, your connection, and your sense of pleasure, even though science has already proven it wrong? What if I told you that your body is still capable of deep, fulfilling intimacy, and that 4 specific positions confirmed through real imaging and circulation research can help you feel sensations you may not have felt in years? I want you to stay with me because what you are about to learn has helped thousands of women rediscover a part of themselves they thought was gone forever. I am Dr. Lily Stones, and after more than 30 years caring for women in midlife and beyond, I can tell you something. Many never hear your ability to experience warmth. Connection and pleasure does not fade with age, it simply changes shape. And once you understand that shape, everything becomes easier, more comfortable, and more satisfying. Before we go deeper, I want to know something from you. Please tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? If you are in the United States, which state? And if you are anywhere else in the world, which country? Our community is global, and your answer helps these messages reach more women who need them. Now, let me start with a truth that surprises many women. After 50, your body is not shutting down, it is shifting. Hormones adjust, circulation patterns change, arousal may take longer, natural lubrication may decrease. These changes are real, but they are not the end of pleasure. They are simply signals that your body needs a slightly different approach. I often tell my patients to imagine their bodies like a classic instrument that has gained richness with time. It still plays beautifully, but it needs a different rhythm, a slower warm-up, and a gentler touch. When you understand this new rhythm, the frustration fades and something else appears: hope. And here is the breakthrough. Modern imaging studies now show that certain positions create stronger blood flow, better contact with key areas of sensitivity, and deeper emotional relaxation. These are not theories. They are measurable, visible effects. They explain why so many women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s tell me their intimacy becomes better, not worse, when they learn how their body works today. You might be surprised to know how many women walk into my office feeling discouraged, unsure of their body, or disconnected from their partners. But when they learn the adjustments that support their current biology, something remarkable happens. They rediscover warmth, responsiveness, and confidence. Some even tell me that this chapter feels more meaningful than any decade before it. In this video, I am going to guide you through 4 positions that consistently support circulation, comfort, and deeper satisfaction for women after menopause. These positions are not about performance. They are about connection, control, ease, and understanding your body's strengths right now. But before we explore those positions, there is a foundational truth you must hear first, because it will change how you think about your body and what it is still capable of. Let's begin there. To understand why certain positions work so well after 50, we need to begin with an honest look at how your body changes during midlife and why those changes do not erase your potential for pleasure. They simply reshape the path to it. For many women, the transition into menopause brings physical shifts that feel confusing or discouraging. I have sat with countless women who lower their voices when they speak about this part of life. They tell me they no longer feel the same level of sensitivity, that their bodies take longer to warm up, or that the connection they once enjoyed now feels harder to reach. These concerns are real, and they deserve compassion, not silence. But here is the part almost no one tells you. Despite hormonal changes, the body's ability to feel pleasure remains remarkably strong. Your nerve endings do not disappear. Your responsiveness does not fade away. The mechanics simply shift, and circulation becomes even more essential. When blood flow to the pelvic region increases, sensitivity increases. When sensitivity increases, your body becomes more receptive to touch and connection. And when the right angle or position naturally supports that process, everything becomes easier. Think of circulation as the foundation that supports your intimate well-being. After menopause, blood vessels respond a little differently, and tissues require more consistent stimulation to fully awaken. This is not a loss of ability, it is a change in timing. Just like warming up before exercise becomes more important with age, warming up emotionally and physically becomes a key part of intimacy. One woman in her early 60s once told me she felt embarrassed because her arousal no longer built instantly the way it once did. I explained that her body was not malfunctioning, it was simply asking for more intention and a different approach. When she and her partner slowed down, adjusted their rhythm, and used angles that supported more consistent contact, she was stunned by how responsive she still was. Her exact words were, "I thought I was done feeling this way, but my body just needed something new." Science fully supports her experience. Research using blood flow imaging shows that women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s continue to have strong responses when stimulation is rhythmic, consistent, and aligned with their natural anatomy. The key is choosing positions that support comfort and circulation instead of working against them. Another important truth is that emotional comfort becomes even more essential. Stress, self-consciousness, or feeling rushed can interrupt your body's ability to warm up. That is why the positions we will talk about today emphasize both physical and emotional ease. When your body feels supported, the mind relaxes. When the mind relaxes, the body responds more deeply. And that brings us to the first position that consistently provides both physical alignment and a sense of empowerment for women after 50. For many, it becomes the moment where they realize that intimacy is not behind them, but waiting to be rediscovered in a new form. This first position is powerful because it allows you to guide the pace, the angle, and the rhythm. It supports the natural curve of your spine and encourages steady contact with the areas most responsive after menopause. Many women who believed they could no longer experience strong sensations were surprised to rediscover their bodies in this exact position. But more than that, it helps rebuild confidence. When you feel in control of your experience, your body relaxes, your breathing deepens, and your awareness sharpens. The combination of emotional ease and physical support makes this position one of the most effective places to begin. As we move forward, I am going to show you why this position works so well, how to adjust it for comfort, and what many women discover when they try it for the first time. It is often the step that opens the door to everything that comes next. When you are ready, we will walk into that first position together and explore why it can feel so transformative. Now that you understand why your body responds differently after 50, it is time to explore the first position that consistently supports stronger circulation, clearer sensation, and deeper emotional connection. Many women rediscover their confidence through this single adjustment because it gives them something they may not have felt in years' control. The first position is a variation of being on top, where you lean slightly forward and guide both angle and pace. The reason this position is so effective is simple. When you lead the movement, your body naturally aligns in a way that maximizes gentle pressure across the areas that are most responsive after menopause. Instead of relying on fast or forceful motion, you shift into slow rocking, which supports blood flow and maintains steady contact. That steady contact is the key. After 50, your body often prefers consistency rather than intensity, rhythm rather than speed. One woman in her late 50s once shared with me that she avoided this position for years because she felt self-conscious about her body. When she finally tried it again and focused on comfort rather than appearance, she was shocked by the difference. She told me it felt like discovering a forgotten part of herself, one that had been waiting quietly for the right moment and the right approach. That moment reminded her that confidence is not about how your body looks, but about how your body feels. If leaning forward feels uncomfortable, placing your hands gently on your partner's chest for support or using a pillow behind your lower back can make this position easier. Many women also find that rotating their hips in small circular motions provides more comfort and clearer sensation than moving up and down. Think of this as exploring, not performing. The goal is to follow what feels natural to your body now, not what used to work decades ago. The second position builds on something very familiar, but improves it with a simple adjustment, placing a firm pillow under your hips while lying on your back. This lift changes everything. It adjusts the angle so that stimulation aligns more closely with the areas most active after menopause. Women often describe this as feeling surprisingly natural, like their bodies suddenly click into place. One patient, a woman in her early 60s, returned to my office with a smile that said everything before she even spoke. She told me that a single pillow changed her entire experience. It reduced strain on her back, increased comfort, and allowed her partner's movements to match her body's needs without effort. This is the beauty of small adjustments. When the angle is right, your body does not fight for sensation, it receives it. Another benefit of this position is relaxation. Lying back with proper support allows your body to soften, your breathing to deepen, and your mind to let go. When your muscles are not tense, circulation improves. When circulation improves, sensation becomes clearer. It becomes a loop that feeds itself. The third position is a technique rather than a traditional shape. It focuses on slow gliding motion over quick movements. This consistent rhythmic pressure supports the tissues that tend to respond more slowly after menopause. Instead of relying on deep movement, the technique is about closeness and gentle rocking. One woman in her early 70s told me that she had never reached climax through penetration alone in her entire life. When she and her partner tried this slower rhythm, she experienced something she had believed was no longer possible. She described it as warmth building steadily until her whole body responded. What changed was not her anatomy, but the type of motion supporting her circulation. The fourth position I often recommend is a seated face-to-face posture. This is not about intensity. It is about emotional safety, closeness, and gentle movement. For many women, the ability to hold on to their partner, maintain eye contact, and breathe together creates a sense of comfort that their bodies respond to with surprising openness. Even women who struggle with flexibility often find this position easier because it does not strain the hips or back. These four approaches work because they match how your body functions today. They reduce physical tension, increase circulation, and strengthen emotional connection. All three essential ingredients for meaningful intimacy after 50. And when women understand this, they stop chasing an old version of their bodies and begin embracing the beautifully capable version they have now. In the next part, I will share the personal transformations. I have witnessed stories that show how these adjustments can restore confidence, connection, and joy at any age. What truly brings these concepts to life are the women who have lived them. Techniques and positions can sound helpful in theory, but the real transformation happens when someone applies them with patience, openness, and a willingness to rediscover her body. One of my patients, a woman named Carol, came to see me shortly after her 61st birthday. She had been married for more than 3 decades. But she told me she felt disconnected from her sense of intimacy, not from lack of love, but from a quiet fear that her body had changed beyond repair. She said, "I feel like I'm still here, but a part of me has gone quiet." When we talked through her experience, I learned she had been trying to approach intimacy the same way she did in her 30s. Fast movements, minimal warm-up, hoping her body would simply catch up. But after menopause, her body needed something different, something slower, more intentional, more aligned with circulation rather than speed. I encouraged her to explore the gentle rocking technique and one of the seated positions we discussed earlier. She and her husband agreed to try it without expectations, just curiosity. 2 months later, she returned with tears in her eyes. She told me that not only had she regained sensation she thought she had lost, but she felt closer to her husband than she had in years. She said, "I realized nothing was wrong with me. I just needed to learn my body again." Her story is not rare. Another woman in her mid-70s shared something equally powerful. She had avoided intimacy for years because she assumed age had taken away her ability to enjoy it. When she learned to use slower movement and proper alignment, she rediscovered warmth and connection she hadn't felt since her 40s. She said something I will never forget. "My body didn't lose its power. I simply stopped giving it the chance to show me." These experiences highlight something essential. Intimacy after 50 is not about chasing the past. It is about discovering what your body is capable of today. It is about shifting from performance to presence, from expectation to exploration. And sometimes it is about rediscovering emotional closeness. One couple in their late 60s told me that trying the seated position completely changed the energy between them. Instead of worrying about pace or technique, they focused on eye contact, breathing together, and gentle movement. They described the experience as peaceful, grounding, and deeply fulfilling. Even without aiming for a specific outcome, it reminded them why they fell in love in the first place. When I hear these stories, they reaffirm something I have believed my entire career. Pleasure after 50 is not only possible, it can be richer, more deeply felt, and more meaningful than ever before. The body becomes wiser, the heart becomes more open, and intimacy becomes less about perfection and more about connection. The truth is, women often underestimate the resilience of their bodies. They underestimate the power of small adjustments, slow rhythms, and emotional comfort. But once they learn to listen to their bodies again, something awakens, something soft, warm, and profoundly human. And now that you have seen how these techniques can transform real lives, it's time to bring everything together. Your body's biology, the positioning that supports it, and the emotional foundation that makes it all possible. In our final part, I will guide you through the key lessons you can take into your own life starting tonight, along with a final reflection that I encourage every woman over 50 to hear. As we bring everything together, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we have explored. You have learned that intimacy after 50 is not something that fades away with age. It evolves. It becomes deeper, more intentional, and often more meaningful than anything you experienced in earlier decades. Your body has not lost its ability to feel warmth, connection, or pleasure. It has simply shifted into a new chapter 1 that asks for understanding, gentleness, and the right kind of support. We talked about how changes in circulation hormones and tissue sensitivity can make intimacy feel different, but not diminished. We explored how slow, rhythmic motion, supportive angles, and grounded positions can make your body more responsive. You discovered 4 positions that consistently support better alignment, clearer sensation, and deeper emotional closeness, especially for women navigating the natural transitions of midlife and beyond. More importantly, you heard the stories of real women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who believed something was wrong with them, only to rediscover that their bodies were still capable of beautiful, fulfilling experiences. Their breakthroughs were not about youth. They were about awareness, communication, and giving themselves permission to approach intimacy in a new way. And that is the message I want you to carry with you tonight. Your body is still capable. Your desires are still valid. Your potential for closeness is still alive. Whether you are in a long-term relationship or rediscovering yourself, your journey with intimacy does not end here. It continues with more knowledge, more intention, and more confidence. If there is one thing I hope you remember, it is this: intimacy is not defined by age. It is defined by connection. Connection with your partner, but also connection with yourself. When you approach your body with curiosity instead of judgment, something opens. Your breathing slows, your muscles soften, your awareness heightens, and suddenly you realize that pleasure was never gone. It was waiting for you to meet it in a new way. Before we close, I want to invite you to share something meaningful. In the comments, let me know one thing you learned today or one insight you want other women to hear. Your experience may be exactly what someone else needs to find hope. And if this video helped you in any way, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss the guidance I create for women over 50. Intimacy is a lifelong journey. You deserve clarity, you deserve comfort, and you deserve to feel fully alive in every chapter of your life. And now, as always, let me remind you, and before we close, let me remind you, this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider.